yesterday in Sri Lanka, 300 people were murdered by Islamic extremist suicide bombers. 300 people, over 300 people are dead, and the targets that were the result that were hits were mainly Catholic churches on Easter. It's just, man, it's. Before I get further into this video, I would like to say I'm my thoughts and prayers are out to those people who are in Sri Lanka currently surviving both, and also I pray for the victims as well. So, well, I actually pulled up some articles right here on the New York Times, and about the attack that happened. Attacks by suicide bombers on Sunday in Sri Lanka killed more than 300 people and wounded about 500. The victims came from at least 8 countries and included worshippers at Easter Sunday services at the 3 churches that were among the targets of the coordinated bombings. Sri Lanka's President on Monday declared a conditional state of emergency that gave the security services sweeping powers to arrest and interrogate people and to conduct search and seizures. The dusk-to-dawn curfew was in effect on Monday night in Colombo, the capital, and major social media messaging services remained blocked by the government. So it's in Sri Lanka. It's pretty hectic over there because they have such a unstable political environment. In fact, I think if they're currently under a military government that recently took over in 2006, I believe. I can't be sure. So, take that part for a grain of salt. The overall point is that Sri Lanka has been in a state of turmoil ever since. So this led to the rapiding of terrorism on the island nation. And unfortunately, it has led to 300 people being killed. But what does the world say about that? Mainly just condolences and prayers. But there's this. It's just what the main part of this video. This is the part where I have to get into, is what Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama said about the Christians there. It's weird what they called us. Easter worshippers. I literally have nothing to say about that. It's ridiculous to say that. I mean, first of all, we don't worship Easter, we worship God. Yes, Easter is definitely a holiday, but it's a holiday that celebrates the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So why would Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama call us Easter worshippers? I mean, aren't they also Christians as well? And what's the whole problem with the saying the word Christians? It's weird. It is completely weird. And that's kind of the whole idea that I'm getting at, because the left, at least in this country, is definitely politicizing much of the global events that occur around the world. In fact, in terms of the Christchurch shooting, with the whole ethnic nationalists killing those 50 Muslim worshippers in Christchurch, New Zealand, they jumped on board saying that this was the alt-right, this was all because of Donald Trump, etc., etc., etc. But now they're kind of silent. They haven't really even announced who it was that actually killed these people, the Islamic extremists, and even specifically their names in general. And I'm not going to say their names, mainly because it's kind of hard to say their names, to be quite honest with you. But still, they are not going so far as to talk about who these people are and who and why they committed. They're not even saying Islamic extremists, which is, to me, it's complete hypocrisy. The reason is they're willing to condemn an ethnic nationalist and blame pretty much people, or will assume that people from on the right are just alongside with this guy. And obviously that's not the case. But they're not attacking the Islamic extremists who apparently went so far as to target Christians on Easter Sunday. Radical Islamists. And they're not saying anything about that. Complete hypocrisy. For any of you leftists out there, here's my belief. All terrorism is bad, whether it comes from the right or the left. It should be condemned no matter what. It should always be condemned. ISIS should be condemned. The neo-Nazis who committed terrorist attacks should be condemned. Communists should be condemned for committing something like this. I'm talking to you, Antifa. And anyone who engages in political violence needs to be called out and be brought to justice. That is my overall belief. The fact that they're willing to go so far as to use the situation in Christchurch to be trying to politicize this whole idea that it's the right's fault or the Donald Trump's fault or the nationalists' fault. It's completely contradictory. Because they're not doing the same thing for the radical Islamists. They haven't really spread this, or called out the idea of radical Islamists or radical Islam or Islamic terrorism. And that is completely sad. Because, to be honest, this is actually going to create more terrorism. You want to know why? Because it's creating this divide. Obviously, the left wants to antagonize the people on the other side, but doesn't want to antagonize the people on their side, which allows people to have sort of a free card. And that, or a get out of jail free card. And that will just only encourage these people to just go on and continue these sort of acts of violence. And that's something that we shouldn't have. Right or left, conservative or liberal. We need to focus on any of these terrorist attacks. We need to condemn both sides. But I don't. But how that's gonna affect how that's gonna maybe affect us in terms of trying to mend the United States. I don't think there's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna work out anytime soon because of this obvious division. So yeah, that it's just the more Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the Democratic Party, the left in general, continues to do this, the more it's just them showing their own hypocrisy to their own side. It's just all that's doing is just exposing them for what they are. Do as I say, but not as I do. My name is Noah and on the Arc of Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. See ya.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.